There's an entire culture surrounding the purchase and management of private islands. Calling themselves isolomaniacs, these people tend to be independent, intrepid travelers who aren't afraid of a challenge. There are innumerable private islands for sale around the world, from 3-acre outcrops in the Aegean to remote eco-outposts in the Bahamas and luxury resorts in the Seychelles. They are expensive, the build costs can be astronomical, and there are many pitfalls. The FT spoke to a number of people with experience in selling and living on private islands to find out how to avoid these disasters. Here are 7 tips for buying an island. You're watching Pixum, and today we'll talk about how to buy and run a private island. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press that bell icon. The island is always a dream. It's not something easy, it's not something banal, it's something special, says John Bracco, sales director of Immobile Sarda, an affiliate of Christie's International Real Estate. Bracco, whose business is mostly conducted in the waters around Italy, says that islands offer privacy and connection with nature. In the Mediterranean, he adds, there is a scarcity value. It's not like in the Caribbean where you have hundreds. Wherever you buy, there are complications. Off Italy, almost all islands are state-owned and not for sale, says Bracco. Those are the ones that have strict regulations governing development. Nonetheless, he says, there are still people who want to buy islands they can't build on. Purchases in much of the Caribbean are governed by British law, making transactions relatively straightforward. The freeholds of many are owned by holding companies, so transactions take the form of share sales, says De Maled Morgan, seller of private islands in Caribbean for Knight Frank. In Thailand and other parts of Asia, freehold islands are rare. Foreigners are often barred from owning land, and buyers can have difficulty establishing ultimate ownership, he adds. In Vanuatu in the South Pacific, there is no freehold land, but leases can be extended at any point for free. Once you have bought your island, building on it is the next problem. Ownership rights on Caribbean islands extend to the high water mark, and jetties require special permissions. Buying an island for private use is similar to buying an expensive house, says John Christie, who, as chief executive of Bahamas agency H.G. Christie, sells islands all day, every day. If you plan to make your island a commercial proposition, however, things can get more complicated. In the Bahamas, commercial buyers need approval of the government's investment authority. Christie estimates that 80% of buyers in the Bahamas are purchasing for family use, which helps them navigate the process quicker. Once the approval is granted, he says, some do edge towards more money-making schemes. Many of Christie's buyers want to be like Richard Branson, he says. The British entrepreneur was an island pioneer. In 1978, he bought Necker in the British Virgin Islands for $180,000 and has since transformed it into a luxury resort. A one-night stay on Necker now costs $5,000. For $77,500 a night, 30 guests can book the entire island. Little Pipe Cay, a 38-acre island in the Exumis archipelago of the Bahamas, was bought after its previous owners weighed up the pros and cons of buying a super yacht or a private island. They went for the island because it might appreciate in value, says De Maled Morgan. Bought and developed by billionaire Michael Dingman, the former president of Shipston Group and a director at Ford and Time Warner, who died in 2017, the island is currently on sale for $85 million with Knight Frank. Invariably, islands are expensive, but that is unlikely to dissuade many private island buyers. In the Bahamas, purchase prices run from $700,000 for a 3-acre island with some vacant land to $70 million for a 100-acre that's totally developed or a 700-acre undeveloped plot, says Christie. The cheapest island Marcus Gondolo Gordon has ever sold, absolutely tiny, mired in planning complications, a perfect little hump of green land, cost 5 million euros. In and around Greece, the average cost of an island is 10 to 20 million euros, but can be as high as 85 million euros, says Gondolo Gordon, whose company Incognito Properties sells islands worldwide. Off Panama, a trio of islands is available. The buyer will only be able to develop 30% of their 1,800 acres and must do so in an eco-conscious fashion. A $100 million price tag might seem steep, but any buyer is not simply acquiring real estate but will also acquire a global legacy, according to Hannah Ayala, co-seller of the islands. For most buyers, the price is of limited consequence. Not many opt for a mortgage. I've never experienced anybody take out funding, says Damele de Morgan. Among the owners in the exodus are hedge fund managers, franchise owners from the NBA and NFL, and football club owners. Johnny Depp the actor and David Copperfield the magician also own here. Other island owners include Larry Ellison, a co-founder of Oracle, and the actor Leonardo DiCaprio. Marlon Brando purchased an entire atoll in French Polynesia in the 1960s. Once a place to entertain Tahitian chiefs, the islands are now occupied by the Brando Resort. Acquiring an island gives you the chance to create your own kingdom just minutes from the mainland or miles offshore, says Joe Sortwell, a broker at Landvest who works in the northeastern United States. But building these kingdoms can be a headache. Shipping materials from the mainland can push up build costs dramatically, and ensuring islands are self-sufficient and sustainable is a tall order. You can have your island in the middle of nowhere, and then a 150-meter super yacht comes and moors up. Construction costs go absolutely through the roof because everything has to be shipped in or flown in, says Gondolo Gordon. What might be $3,000 per square meter on the mainland is double that on the island, he says. Mark owns Lataro, a 719-acre island off Vanuatu, and has spent a decade building on the jungle-bound outcrop. He estimates that 60 container loads of materials have been shipped over from elsewhere in the region, most on a barge which was custom built for the task. The island is currently for sale for $9.95 million through Incognito Property. The reality is you can buy islands for $5 to $15 million with no structures on them. The real purchase price then needs to take into account the time and development costs, says Demalet Morgan. When building started on Lataro, Mark bought chainsaws by the pallet. Local labor also posed a challenge. They didn't know how to use a screwdriver. You have to be 100% self-sufficient. Organic sewage, solar panels, a well, a satellite for internet, and on a saltwater island you have a well with desalination. Splendid isolation comes at the price of convenience. If you are in deepest, darkest French Polynesia and someone gets bitten by a shark, you have to factor in how far am I from civilization. But there is a silver lining. The island is a tax haven. That's really a bonus. What we spend to run it, we save in tax. It's free. So many expats go in and fail spectacularly by treating the locals as idiots because they have different standards and different values. Chief among buyer demands is privacy, but unwelcome visits can be hard to prevent. You can have your island in the middle of nowhere and then a 150-meter super yacht comes and moors up. If they're having a disco, you'll hear that. And then there's jet skis screaming around. Hanging over all the prosaic concerns is a more existential one. On Little Pipe Cay, every building has remote-operated shutters, which drop in unison at the push of a button. Floods and hurricanes in the Caribbean can be brutal, and climate change is a concern. For an island, it's a big issue, says Gondolo Gordon. The Greek islands are quite hilly, so you can stick your villa at the peak. But on some Maldivian islands, the highest point is about 1.5 meters. If you're in the cyclone belt, that is an issue. Are you planning to purchase your own private island in the future? Let us know in the comment section. That's it for today, guys. Please like this video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.